Hey, what's happening, everyone? My name is Ryan, and today I wanted to talk about natural light and all the different types of natural light and different times of day that you could utilize this light to tell the story in your films. Let's get into it. Today I wanted to talk about natural light, but not just how you could use it within your film or even how to shape that light, but also the different times of day and the different types of light that you get from the beginning of the day to the end of your day and how that can affect the mood in your film. This could also help to tell the narrative of your story and really drive that home, so I wanted to talk more about that today. I also have a few tips to aid you in your cinematography as you're planning out all of your scenes, so let's get into it. All right, first let's talk about direct sunlight. Direct sunlight is definitely more of an intense style of natural light. On camera, it could create really harsh highlights and harsh shadows in your image. This might make it more difficult for you to get a really blended and smooth look. There are a few times where you can utilize this directional light when you're using it as more of a stylistic choice. So if you were to just face your subject in front of the sunlight, maybe using a matte box and use that as a rim light on your subject. This is a really great look and actually one of my favorite styles because it's a really creative way to use directional sunlight and it looks really great on your subject. One more tip here would be to try to avoid high noon. High noon is gonna get your sunlight directly above your subject, creating harsh shadows under their eyes, and this could be more of an unflattering style of look if you're trying to create an unsettling scene with your character. But either way, there are different ways that you could use directional light in your scene. You just have to be intentional about it for the point that you're trying to get across in that particular scene. All right, let's talk about everyone's favorite, and that is golden hour. And there's a reason for this. It's a very happy and warm style of look, but there are a few things to keep in mind when you're doing this as well. So let's get into that. I've been looking for a reason to film these trains for a long time. When you're getting out and you're shooting in natural light, it's really important to remember there are ways to, bend the light outside to your favor to try and get a cinematic look. And getting outside at this time of day is probably one of the best times that you can get out. Wake up really early and get the sunrise, it's beautiful. But because the sun isn't completely overhead and giving you that unflattering look that you can get with overhead lighting, you kind of get shadows under places that you don't want them. So really you just want to wait for the light to kind of dip below the horizon or at least go down a little bit lower to get more of a pleasant look. This style of light and this time of day is perfect for filming something outdoors or even getting a silhouette shot like I did in my last video. Now this style of lighting can be used for a happy moment, or maybe your character is finally getting rest after a really long journey. Golden hour usually starts 1 hour after the sun has risen and 1 hour right before the sun will set. And on the flip side of that, we have blue hour. Blue hour is actually my favorite time to film, and that starts 1 hour before the sunrise and 1 hour after the sunset. This is gonna give you a really nice blue hue and it'll give you a moodier style of an image, which I like personally. This is gonna also give you really rich colors. So when I'm filming outside, I like to see all the foliage, all the trees and the leaves, that really rich green color. And this is something that I'm constantly trying to pull in all of my videos. You could probably notice it in my background here. This is a great way to pull that out of the scene with your character's performance. It could really drive the story. This is commonly used for filming night scenes, or maybe you're trying to film a night scene in the city. This is a great time to do that. I also like using blue hour to emulate golden hour, and that's because it's a time-sensitive style of shot. You really have to be prepared in pre-production and making sure you're giving yourself a lot of time in the setup before you actually start shooting. But one way to extend this is to emulate your golden hour. Now, I like to do this during blue hour because in my shadows, I get really cool tones, and on my subject, I'm getting really warm tones. Now, I explained all of this in my last 3 one light setups video. You can go and check that out if you like. I'll leave a link in the description below. But this is a really cool technique that I have used personally, and I really love the results. All right, so let's talk about diffused sunlight. Now, this is gonna be when you have lots of cloud cover in the sky, acting as a huge softbox to soften the light on your subject completely. This is a really great time to film if you're looking for more of a moodier style as well. But in this case, you really have to be careful of weather. Here are a couple things to look out for when you're filming in cloud cover. One of them is moving clouds. So if you have partial clouds, it's gonna be ever changing in your film, making it inconsistent for your scene. So this is the exact wrong time to shoot your film. The sun is blazing right into my face, as you can see, and it's actually changing right now. If you wait a little while, you'll notice that the clouds are gonna be covering the sun, and it's gonna be covering some of that harshness that's on my face. The problem with this is that the changing light that you get from this type of day with the clouds moving and covering and uncovering the sun, it becomes inconsistent for your scene. It becomes really hard and harsh to be able to try and film a scene that looks very consistent, making it really hard to control that light. Putting up diffusion panels and taking them down and waiting for the clouds to move and things like that can really dig into the time that you have available to shoot your scene. Another thing to look out for is rain. Make sure you're looking out for that, and also for high winds. If it's really cloudy, that means there's probably a storm or something like that. You want to be aware of what the weather is doing. What I like to do is use weather apps, and I also have this app that helps me figure out where the sun's gonna be on the time of day that I'm gonna be filming. Simple tools like these will help you to be able to plan ahead of time and make the most out of the time that you're spending filming outside. My goal really for this video is to just really help you to understand natural light and how to utilize that in your films. Being able to understand natural light at its fullest will really help you to be able to drive the narrative of your story to really create something beautiful. So I just want to encourage you to pick up your camera, get outside, and shoot your next scene. And also, if you end up utilizing any of these tips or techniques in your next film, send me a link. I'd love to check that out. Well, that's gonna do it for me, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me in this quick tutorial. If you like this video or you learned something, please click the like button down below. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next one. Laters.